Hey everybody, welcome back to the Comfycast, episode 27. It's been we've had another long break. I'm Reddish Blues. Today I'm joined by Varia,
Hi.
Mr. Hoot,
Hello.
and Poondunkus.
Poon, it's me.
We're back again, guys. Hey, how's everybody doing? You guys,
Alright.
You guys alright?
Tired.
Yeah. Same.
I'm good. I
Same.
had my birthday burger today.
High energy. Oh yes, happy birthday to you,
Happy
Mr.
birthday.
Hoot.
Yay.
Can we sing Happy
17
Birthday?
years young.
Let's not sing.
No, I don't like the birthday song.
Oh, good. Oh, isn't it copyrighted? When we get... Oh no, it's not anymore.
No, it's
We're
free
gonna get-
for anyone.
Well, anyways, wish Hoot happy birthday out there. Anyone listening to this? Episode 27, guys. Whew, this is a big one. This is a marker. No, it's not. Okay, so it's been a while. It's been a while, but there is stuff we do want to talk about. Anyone out there listening who's a repeat listener knows that it's been about 2 months, maybe a little less, a month and a half. I don't know, but
it was just post Evo, wasn't it? I mean,
No,
it was
post
post
E3.
E3.
I mean,
it was pre-Evo. Yeah, it was for our E3 episode.
Yeah.
But there's some news and stuff we want to talk about. Mainly just, I mean, we only have this podcast to talk about what we're playing and what we like and what we hate and stuff. So we're gonna do more of that. But let's start off with what we've been playing since the last time we recorded. I can just go first and just say that I have been playing a shit ton of Final Fantasy XIV with you guys, and Overwatch. Like always, I feel like if you go back to episode 1, these are the two games we were talking about. And
It's like we started with that, we're gonna die with that,
Yeah,
with
pretty
these
much.
games.
I just haven't. I'm in the process of moving actually, or like getting ready to move. So I packed away a bunch of stuff. So I haven't really like even turned on my PS4 or anything. And I mean, I have it out, but I'm just kind of like, you know, that feeling when you're like, I'm just waiting for the reset to like, you know, be in the new place, and then I'll start doing stuff again. I guess it's like procrastination, but I've really just been mainly focusing on.
I do that every year. I'm like, all right, New Year's, gonna, start doing some stuff. And it's like, well, that didn't happen. I'll wait until
Yeah.
spring starts. We'll do spring cleaning.
Yeah, it's
that
like
doesn't
time
happen,
to hit
et
that
cetera.
backlog, and then nothing ever happens. You buy
Yeah.
3 games on Steam and don't play those either.
Mhm.
But anyways, so yeah, I've just been playing 14. I feel like there was something else that I played in between this time that's
PUBG.
passed. But PUBG, yes. I think I mentioned that last time as well. Jeez, it's the same 3 games. I need a
It
leaderboard
feels
in
like
order
it's
to.
been kind of a because like we had that spat of really like a ton of really great games in the first couple months of the year. And
Yeah.
it feels like it's
Mhm.
been sort of a dry period, and everything's waiting for the holiday season, which is what I think usually it's like, right? Like big games don't usually come out in June.
The summer is
you know?
usually pretty calm, so
Mhm.
and yeah, I'm still catching up on the backlog of everything that came out between January and April.
Yeah.
I feel like there is a lot of stuff though, but it might be like it's on the horizon, and
There's
also
some stuff coming up.
also
that
like
I'm
not
gonna talk about.
not to be like like I know this kind of upsets some people here in the
Whoa.
TeamSpeak, but not to be
Wow.
like a Nintendo fanboy, but like everything that I like was excited for is on Switch, and I don't even have a Switch, so like Mario and stuff, and so
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, New Donk City, baby.
Until next year, anyways. But anyways,
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I'm looking forward to has been pushed to 2018. So it's like first quarter 2018. So I'm looking at another jam-packed, February through March
what got
like
oh
last
Nino
year.
Kuni got pushed. Nino Kuni 2, right, till
Oh,
January.
did it?
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
so that was one. But yeah, so there's stuff on the horizon, but really I've just been, like I said, moving. So online games with you guys. Overwatch, we'll talk about. Got an update today or the other day, but yeah. So that's it. PUBG, Final Fantasy 14. I really would like to kind of talk about 14, but I don't know. There's a lot to. It's been a while, so
I have something specific to say about 14, but I'll wait for a bit later.
right. Okay, so what else have you guys been playing? Anybody?
Let's start with Poon,
Sure.
because he hasn't been here last time.
Yes, Poon.
Yeah. So it's not a new game at all, but I've been playing Dark Souls 3 with a friend
Oh,
recently
cool.
because I hadn't played that one. I played one, loved it. But he finally he was stuck on Bloodborne for like the longest time, but he finally beat it. It's like, okay, I'm ready to move on now. So we both got Dark Souls 3, so we've been doing the co-op on that. And yeah, it's It's really good.
It's Dark
again.
Souls.
It's Dark Souls, yeah.
It's the same stuff as before, but it's the good stuff. It's interesting though, because when I played it before, it was primarily single player, and
No, you
it has a totally different feel doing the co-op. Like, it's easier, obviously, but I think it's also fun in a different sort of way. It doesn't have like as much of the challenge fun, but it's just fun being like, all right,
yeah. I mean, for sure, like
dudes.
I have to think about it in two separate ways. Where it's like some people buy those games for the fact that they're like Souls games. Me personally, I'm not that. I like them. Like I like Bloodborne, but I don't get into like that for some reason. But yeah, that would appeal to me more, the co-op stuff. But I just don't have anyone to play with.
Right? Yeah. The worst thing though is because we're always online. That means I'm always getting invaded and stuff.
Oh, right.
And we get to make it 2-on-1, but it's just like, dude, we're just trying to play this game. You have to come in here and start trying to sneaky.
How dare you
roll
challenge
around,
me?
backstabs.
Don't you have like an option to make like a private room or whatever?
No, you can make a password for like you want specific people to join you.
And that's what
But
I
I think,
did.
yeah, but I think for invasions you can still get invaded by anyone.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Must have
So-
gotten lucky then.
Yeah.
You were killing people without knowing they were real people.
Oh man.
They journeyed you.
Why are you
Uh-huh.
glowing?
Anything else you've been playing besides Dark Souls?
Let's see. Oh, I picked up that Fire Emblem game that came out a while ago. Fire
The mobile
Emblem
game?
Echoes, right?
Oh, Echoes.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah, Echoes.
Not
right?
yeah, Echoes. Yeah, not the mobile one. I'm not playing that one. But the one that's the remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden from fuck long ago.
Right. Oh my god. I
PC
totally forgot that
98
came
or
out.
whatever.
And it's all right. I think it does some things. It's like a weird inverse of Fates for me, because with Fates, I love the gameplay. The story was some fat nasty trash, but it was fun to play. And in this, it's kind of the other, where I'm actually interested in the characters, and I think the writing is good for once. But then the gameplay just feels like a chore because they didn't update it at all from 1993 or whatever. So
Oof. Didn't they make dungeons like different?
yeah, there's
Like
like you
actually
go
running
around
around in
in
them.
dungeons, and then
Yeah.
you have like semi-random encounters with like 3 enemies on a map, and it just feels like, okay, well, now I spend 3 turns moving and attacking. It's not challenging or interesting. It's just boring to play through.
Wow. Is that on
So-
Switch or is that 3DS?
No,
still?
that was on 3DS. But I do think it's interesting that it exists at all because, with Fire Emblem's newfound popularity, right after the 3DS games, that core fan base is saying like, oh man, it's going to be ruined forever. It's going to be waifus forever. All this going to be more and more casualized. And like, here, how about a remake of the most obscure old school game in this series? And like, oh, well, I guess
No.
maybe,
I want waifus now.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we'll see how the next like brand new game is. That's supposedly happening. No info about it, but yeah, like I said, I didn't really care for this one, but I still feel like the franchise itself is going in a good direction just because they've shown they can do, the balance of either this or that.
You know what's really sad? I was about to ask, whatever happened with the Fire Emblem SMT crossover? Oh, right. I legit forgot
It
that.
just happened and
Yeah.
everyone forgot about it.
Yeah,
I was like, because that's really interesting. I can't wait. And then it's like,
There was a game here. It's gone now.
yeah.
Well, anyways,
It's crazy though how
J-poppers.
big the mobile game has gotten. I feel like I know a
that's
lot
still
of people.
a thing.
That's
we're still
crazy.
playing that.
That shit and like Pokemon Go amazes me.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Well,
like
and
that
the-
was a
and the new
week of
one,
my
yeah.
life, and then I deleted it, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But there are people that are like, I mean, it's making so much money daily
Yeah.
that I'm just like, what?
Well, and right now the new hotness is Fate Grand Order.
Right.
I know.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I lasted like 2 days on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know anybody from that. So I've never seen it. I've never played any games or and watched any of the anime. So I'm just like, not. I know
It's
there's a
not
blonde
very
girl
good.
in a lot of different outfits.
Yep.
I actually have Fate
It's two
Extella
blonde
here for
girls.
Vita that I haven't played yet, but that looks like a fun action game.
Oh,
So I
man.
don't know. I'll get back to you on that.
I need to like look up wiki or something on how to get into the series. I think one time Yarrow tried to tell me, and it just was like, oh, okay,
Stop
there's a lot.
talking.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that what is it? Fate Zero is like the best one, but everything else is just kind of generic anime that has a neat premise, but squanders it by being like, what if King Arthur was a girl? And like, okay, well that's moderately okay, sure, I can accept that, but what if Vlad the Impaler was also a girl? And what if Emperor Nero was also a girl?
And what if you were a girl?
Yeah, and too much of that, it's like, okay, I get you're not even historical characters anymore. It's not as fun. I want, the historical characters bonking around, having some fun.
Do they do any what if she was a boy? Like some famous woman in history?
There are no famous women in history.
Wow. God damn it.
According to those guys, at least, there's not much. That's why they have to keep on pulling from them.
What if Joan of Arc was a boy? He'd still die. Wow.
I mean, yeah, they do
Spoilers.
get that, but it's like, you're kind of... I admit that you are at a loss when talking about like, historical warrior women. There's just not as much of them, so I guess they gotta balance it somehow, but it feels cheap and lazy.
I saw your Paul Bunyan tweet, and I felt kind of like...
Oh, yeah.
But that was stupid, dude. I look like a little girl.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
Paul
like,
Bunyan.
a manly...
This is my huge man, like beefy man, American folklore hero.
And a little... Well, no, a giant little girl. Just... No, not even a beard.
Giant little girl.
Meanwhile, Thomas Edison, do you see Thomas Edison as a space lion?
I saw that too. I'm like,
It's a what?
does it have to do with like Edison?
Okay, so you think of All Might from My Hero Academia, but with a lion head, and that's what Thomas Edison looks like.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
But it's a little girl?
No, it's
a
just a
lion
beefy lion dad.
Well, that's kind of weird.
I mean, if it had some kind of reference to like Edison, I'd get it, because he had like a movie background too. He had like a movie theater, and if they did something like that,
that's what they said. The reference is it's like MGM's Lionhead, and then in one of his super
that is
moves,
such a stretch. That is the weirdest stretch I've ever.
I would never catch that. The guy has a superhero suit.
Yeah.
Let's make him a lion stand.
And then in his like super move, he summons the 20th Century Fox logo.
Are you fucking serious?
But like neither of those were his film companies. So
no, his theater was called the Black Maria, so that's like the farthest thing from that. I think it's called the Black
Knowing that,
Maria.
I'm surprised they didn't make him into a
girl,
a dark-skinned girl. Then
right? That would make so much sense.
Maria. Anyways, so what is we talking about? Is that anime or is that video games?
Kind of both. What else you guys been playing?
Yeah,
Anyways, mobile games. So what else? Anything else you've been playing? Mobile games? No more?
No.
End it now.
I mean, you other guys been playing stuff?
Oh, I was asking you still. Was there anything else before we move on?
No. That's
right.
pretty much it for me.
Okay, who? Varia? Who? Someone.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Oh, me? Okay. So, being on the topic of mobile games, I played a few, and I wrote like a really long rant about them for some reason.
I've seen that. That's only like you went to big review mode.
Did you read it?
Or
did you skim it?
I skimmed it because I didn't know exactly what you were talking about.
I just looked for the score. I just skimmed all the way down for the number score.
And I updated it a few days ago too, because like there was no closure with that, so I just went back and fixed a bunch of stuff.
I think it was like 4 a.m. for me, and just like
what the fuck? It's like you see that thing where like Benedict Cumberbatch is like putting together Liberty, Liberté, and like doing all that.
Yeah,
that was basically. So it started like around June-ish, like around the time Stormblood came out, where I started playing a bunch of like mobile games for some reason, because I was out a lot, so I couldn't bring my computer or anything.
Yeah.
And I downloaded it was like Final Fantasy Brave Exvius or something like that, and it was...
Is that the 15 spin-off mobile game thing?
No, it's something else completely. It has its own story, but like you can get a bunch of different characters from different games.
Oh, Mobius? Is it that Mobius?
No, Mobius is pretty
God, there's
bad.
so many. Never mind. Okay, I'm going to stop interrupting you.
That, and I forgot now. I'm blanking right now, but I downloaded a few. Oh, and Skullgirls Mobile. They came out with their own mobile thing.
Oh,
but
really?
It's stupid. Yeah, but it's really... I don't like it because you tap to punch and stuff.
Yeah.
and you like swipe up to jump and like
it's
swipe. It's really
terrible.
dumbed down. It's really dumbed down,
and
functionable.
It has functions, but it's not good.
And it has and I hate that they introduced elements on every character. So like fire, water, earth, light, dark, or whatever.
There's not even enough characters to have like all the elements.
Yeah, no, they get repeat. They repeat. So like, there's a fire Cerebella. There's like a water Cerebella. It's stupid. So basically, they're all gacha games too, where like you get drops and stuff, and you get like energy, and you get stones to roll. And I just hated how like all these games were pretty shallow and stuff, and just essentially time sinks when like you could do way better stuff. But like people won't pay for better stuff, you know, because these games are free and they're just time sinks. They're not like something people take that seriously unless you're playing Grand Blue Fantasy, which I tried on Chrome for like a week, and I was like hooked. But then I realized how long the grind was to like get good at like Grand Blue and to like actually get in it and be invested in it. But by the time you're all super invested in these games, you don't want to leave because you've invested so much time. So that's why people have struggled to like leave those kind of games. But Grand Blue is like one of the best free to play like gacha games that I've like ever played. And like I was super invested in it for like a week, and that's like a lot for a person who has like really short attention span on these mobile games and stuff like that. But aside from all that, which I just want to forget about, I was playing. I finished Beyond Good and Evil this week. And,
that's right. I saw you tweeting about that.
Yeah, and I really liked it a lot because people were saying it's not like an argument or anything, but some people like to call it a cyberpunk game, and I just wanted to like play it because I'm interested in the genre. And I was pretty turned off by it at first because there's like a lot of water and like traveling in water. And I'm like, how is this cyberpunk? They're all islands, like, and everything looks like, I wouldn't say Greece, but it looks like a really cartoony world, and it looks like a sea town. So how the heck is this a cyberpunk game? No, the themes like started coming in where like there's oppression and there's censorship and stuff, and people aren't being told the truth, and like a certain group holds power over like this
the usual
area.
that you get the usual cyberpunk.
So I'm like,
themes.
okay, I can dig it. I see where people are going with this, and I finished it. And a lot of reviews say it's like a Zelda game, which I felt like I don't know, like I was tainted because I've never played a Zelda game, so it's like. It's like getting a second-hand hire, of the Zelda hemp. So, I finished that. So I kind of liked it.
So you would say that it was cyberpunk in its themes, but not in the aesthetic?
Yep.
Is that what I'm getting? Okay.
Definitely, because it's more... It is futuristic. There's like space travel in it too, but it's like so... I don't know. It feels like a very junkyardy... kind of like space travel, where like everything's made like of makeshift parts and stuff like that. But it has like the whole seaside exploration parts of like basically. Let's just go. Let's just invent that.
I actually had a rant about the meaning of cyberpunk, I think, some months ago, because some people say cyberpunk purely for the aesthetics, and then there's people who say cyberpunk for the themes and approach, and I'm more in the second camp. Where for me, cyberpunk is more about the punk parts. Like it's always like a counterculture themes and stuff like that, and basically you use futuristic settings to explore social norms and social injustices, and that's basically to me what cyberpunk is. But for some other people, cyberpunk is just like, let's have like, it's Blade Runner. It's like
it's
a dark city with neon lights.
Well, I feel like you can't have one with like. For it to be cyberpunk, you can't have one without the other.
I mean, you have to have some kind of certain level of like high tech for it to be cyberpunk. Like it has to be there. I know. Like it doesn't.
Car.
I mean, there was stuff like AIs that would like. There's an AI like Jade the main character has like an AI like that manages her inventory and all that stuff, and he like hacks and stuff. So that's like a very small detail to like. That kind of grounds that whole technology thing. I mean, there's other tech in the world, but I think there has to be some kind of like sense of like a better technology than what we have now to to accomplish that whole aesthetic part of cyberpunk. I think it has to have a little bit of both.
So then, having played the game, did you go back and watch the E3 trailer for the new one?
Actually, I started playing it before I saw the trailer, and after I saw the trailer, I was like, wow, I have that game. Why don't I play it? So I played it, and then I went back to see the trailer, and I'm like, okay, I can see a few things that I'm like excited about. And I saw like other stuff where like you can essentially you're gonna like be able to make your own character, and and I saw a few things that like might after beating the game, like there are a few things in my head, like I'm trying to like theorize about like the story, what it's going to be about, because there's like this cliffhanger that people were complaining about, but I felt like there was some sort of closure and you didn't need to know what happened afterwards, because like there's a part of the story where like it lets you know what happens if certain person doesn't get like a thing. I know I'm being very, very vague here, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But I don't feel like I need that closure from the cliffhanger. But I'm more interested in what happens like before that set up the whole game, the first game, that set the events for the first game. I'm more excited about that.
Well, that's cool because, seeing that trailer, it looked moderately interesting to me, but it's like, since I haven't played the other game, I don't have any context for it. So it's cool to hear from people who actually have played and they're like, oh, yeah, that does look interesting. It doesn't look like just they've completely missed the point, or it's just a rehash, or whatever the hell.
Yeah, because like I'm telling you, there's space exploration, so that planet you're in isn't like the only planet for like galaxies. There's like space travel where there's like other planets being controlled by other like governments or whatever. But I was about to move on from this game and say that there's staying on the topic of cyberpunk, there's other games in that genre that are coming out. There's Ruiner that I'm really looking forward to. I played the demo at E3. Not E3. I'm so stupid. PAX.
He was at E3. Everybody.
I was at PAX last year, and no, it was March.
Ruiner?
It was March.
That's not Devolver, is it?
It's
Devolver
umbrella, but I don't think it's Devolver themselves making it.
Devolver Analog.
It was in the Devolver booth, and I played it, and the demo was really long, which you kind of like did the tutorial, and then it had like a little bit of story afterwards. But this guy, he couldn't like advance in the story, who was ahead of me, so he kept restarting and doing the tutorial like over and over, and he was like on there for like 30 minutes. So I finished the tutorial. It takes like around 10 minutes to finish this tutorial, and like between like the fade-ins between levels, like it fade outs to like a black screen while it loads. You can see the people behind you through the reflection on the monitor.
Like when the Vita goes black and you see it double change.
So I'm like, oh shit, I better speed it up. And people are judging you or whatever. So like I finally get out of the tutorial area, and it's like a huge hub where like you're supposed to do this story thing for the demo, but I'm like, there's so much pressure. There's like tons of people that want to play this game, so I kind of like cut it short there. But I like the gameplay; it's really neat.
This guy's ruining Ruiner.
And there's also this other game called Observer, which basically the guy who played the main villain in Blade Runner is actually the protagonist in this, and it's not the same character, but it's like that. It's the actor that played him. And let's see, it's about this guy who goes into people's minds and hacks their like thoughts and stuff, and tries to make them confess things that they don't want to say. And I think he accidentally like goes a bit too far with someone, and like they're actually holding like really dark secrets, and he might be in trouble because of it or whatever.
Because he knows it now. Wait, did you say it's called Observer or Absorber?
You say it's
Absolver.
No, observing, like you're observing
What's
someone.
Absolver
is another game. I think Devolver also, but like Devolver as the publisher, but it's Devolver like a melee game.
Right.
It's a melee game where like it's just hand-to-hand combat. It's gonna be multiplayer. It looks really cool.
That one.
It's like Overgrown, the whole bunny punching. It's basically a similar concept, but you don't get the furry stuff, Woo! So I might pick it up.
Take that, Sonic
that
fans.
one looks interesting.
It comes out like in a few weeks, actually, like in August. I mean, we're in August right now, so like in 1 or 2 weeks.
Beginning on the 28th.
Yeah.
Check a look. Devolver is crushing it.
So those are actually, Ruiner's Devolver, I think. Absolver's Devolver, and Observer is someone else. I forgot.
It sounds like you're making slam poetry right? Absolver Devolver. No.
I think most of all we're running out of game titles.
Right.
Yeah,
I know, right?
so I'm gonna make sure not to end my like. If I ever make a game, I'm not gonna end it in
No one word games anymore.
or maybe
Well,
a
if
very
you have
long
a
one.
one-word title, you can just make up another nonsense phrase like Zero Dawn and stick it at the end, and then
That's worst because
that'll
like,
fix it.
Horizon would have been better if it was just called Horizon instead of Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's true.
Or you can just call it Rise of whatever. Or
Rise.
whatever you are, Origins.
Horizon Peak of Technology and make like the little logo like a mountain or something. I don't know.
Horizon robot dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly. Horizon Robodino.
Robodino.
No, just call it Robodino. That's the name.
Sounds like the worst Lego line of toys. Robodinos.
The Mega Bloks version.
Helvetii the Rising.
Oh man,
Helvetii.
Helvetii.
He does it.
He's here to kick ass and take names.
How does Helvetii crawl?
Do you have a crawl?
I have a crouch.
Start animating that crawl, or else people are gonna be pissed.
Launching spine right now.
quick. I'm not a spine. People can see me on Discord.
Oh, anyways, sorry, enough inside jokes. So what else? Anything else, Vera, you've been playing? Mobile games, I heard.
Yeah, we talked about those already briefly. I don't want to get back into them, but yeah, that's it, I think. I haven't had that much time to play games recently.
Cool, any new H games? No? Alright.
I was actually about to answer, but okay.
Oh, shit. We can't talk about this here. Okay, what are you playing?
Well, kind of like you, played mostly FF14. Pretty much a lot. I've recently calmed down since this week because I have a huge amount of work, so I've been playing a bare minimum. But yeah, I've played through Stormblood, and for the first time since the beginning of the game, I've been mostly this time on the forefront of endgame content. So I haven't done at this point like Delta Escape 2-4 Savage, which is right now at the time of this recording the very last thing you can do as endgame goes. But
wait, did you do 3?
No, I said I did 1. I finished 1.
Oh, right.
And you were there actually.
Yep.
But I still need to practice 2, 3, and 4. But yeah, the thing with now Final Fantasy XIV, which I find interesting, is Stormblood is super good. Like, Stormblood's story and pacing and stuff like that. Like, Heaven's Sword was already pretty nice, and Stormblood did a really good job of pushing out even better content and better story. But that creates a problem, as I see, like, this... As time goes on, there's going to be a bigger and bigger discrepancy between people who start Final Fantasy XIV now and people who are like us at the end game, because as much as I love the game, it's really hard for me to recommend to people like who wants to join me. It's like, hey, yeah, you can join me on this MMO, but
well, I'll see you in a month.
I'll see you in a month. The beginning is going to be super boring, and then you have the 2.1 to 2.5 content that you have to do, and then you have Heaven's Sword, and then you have that filler content that you have to do, and then you can do Stormblood, and the entire first half of that game now has such a difference in quality than the second half that I wonder if Square, like the team of Yoshi P, I know they're aware of it because they've addressed that. Yeah, we know there's some old content that we need to rework, and I'm kind of curious as to how they're going to do stuff for people going to start playing now, or even for future expansions, because the problem is going to get worse.
That's an interesting problem that I think maybe only MMOs really have, where
I was gonna say
even
that
if the whole game gets better, it's really just better getting tacked onto the end. So even if it's still not fun in the beginning, it only makes it harder to attract people. Whereas something like, I don't know, your Overwatch or, Mortal Kombat or whatever, improvements to the game are just going to be flat out all around improvements.
Yeah.
And it almost rewards you for being, I'll pick it up in a year when all the content is fully out.
Yeah, like you can't get a Game of the Year edition with with an MMO because you still got to start from level 1.
Right.
Well,
which
and
they do
especially
offer
for
these jump potions
FF14
now.
in particular, there's jump potions, but then you miss a huge amount of context, and like the story in its full context is really good. So, it's kind of sad if people just miss
Skip
that.
it. Yeah.
They have.
But yeah, like at this point, you have almost the equivalent of 3 full JRPGs and 1 MMO. And it's funny because I was thinking that FF14 is the only MMO in recent years that I know has the opposite problems of most other MMOs had, which
Story sucks.
it's not even that. It's like most other MMOs, like Secret World or Rift, or I've played a bunch of them. I was in a really MMO phase not so long ago, where usually it's always the beginning that's super strong, and once you get to the end game, it peters out. And that's usually why most MMOs in the past kind of broke down, because you give a good first impression, and then it just kind of, that impression quickly becomes stale, and then it just comes to nothing once you hit endgame. And then they need to patch it or like fix it and a whole bunch. And for 14, at least since 2.0, it's like, for me it's the inverse. The beginning is super slow and pads that, like, it's almost entire filler episodes of, oh, now go get this primal, now go here, now get this primal. And it's only once you start hitting the end game that suddenly everything opens up.
Yeah, like the Scions and stuff.
Mhm.
That's really when stuff takes off. But let me ask you, like, realistically, how many years do you see 14 having left? Like, expansion-wise and all that stuff?
I'd
Do
say
you think
there's
they'll go, like, a long, long time, like Warcraft, kind of? Or they're going to try to reboot again?
I don't know. Well, so far the MMO is doing super good. Like, they have 10 million active subscriber, which is huge.
I just wonder if the way to fix it is, kind of a way to fix it would be like, because they have this, Final Fantasy is like a series, right, which stretches many titles.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the easier way to fix it, and also to get people to buy into the idea of the fix, is to just kind of reboot again, but not in a way that's like a Realm Reborn. That's just like a totally different.
Yeah,
you know.
I was thinking like maybe they're gonna do a Warcraft Cataclysm when they're gonna redo the old zones, but that would not work because they're too much tied to the story.
Yeah.
So,
and I think people would honestly, like, not trying to be like entitled MMO fan here or whatever, but I would be a little bit upset if it's like we spent this whole expansion mainly deals with reworking all the shit you've already done that you don't even need to do, and meanwhile Summoner is still fucking broken. It's like, I'd rather you kind of focus on the end game stuff where I'm at right now still, because I've been paying for a long time. So that's what I mean. Like, I think the only way to do it is
it still on a subscription model?
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh wow!
That's
it's
why
still
it's
doing
impressive
good.
that it has 10 million people active subscribers.
I mean, MMOs,
it must be like the only other one. That and Warcraft, right?
And Warcraft. I mean, it seems like all MMOs are just a race to free to play. You know, like, but these two have. Yeah,
subscription doesn't work really.
Yeah.
Like, FF14 is really the odd one out with, and WoW is just like too old and established to stop.
Right. The people who are still playing WoW, and I know a couple of them at work. I don't know. It's like they're a different breed of human
That's crazy.
Still enjoy that stuff, and they'll never change, and they'll always play it, and nothing could stop them.
I'm sorry to our one listener who's been playing WoW.
I didn't say they're an inferior sort of human. I just said that they're different.
A different sort of human.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. It's weird to think that
they're slimy like.
They're loyal, crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, they'll defend it to the end. And I mean, I played Warcraft for a while, and I just like I got over it. But
that's the thing. Is like most Warcraft players I know, they don't even defend
Warcraft fans or Smash Bros. Melee fans?
Oh shit! That's true.
I don't
know.
League
of Legends fans as well.
No, they're kind of chill. They're kind of like
they don't have the years yet. You know,
I don't know. I think Melee fans pay once and then they're like, "Yeah, this game's great." I think Warcraft fans are a whole totally different thing because they're like, "I'm still willing to keep paying for this."
That's true, isn't it? Yeah.
So I don't know, and I don't know. Yeah. I think they're more like apologists. Melee is already done. Like, you know, like there's not getting more.
Melee was done for 10 years, dude.
Yeah.
Looking back at the old zones, like, because I realize how small they are now compared to Stormblood, and one possibility is that they could simply open them up a bit more, like add the possibility of having more space by finally using the flying mounts and the old zones. Like, this is a way I would think they could rework the old stuff.
Yeah, but do you think adding, like, more space and means more content to those... Like, wouldn't it just take longer to get through them?
What would be needed for me is, like, they need to rework some early stuff. They need to rework mostly early dungeons.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of content that's just too slow in the beginning.
I mean, shit, I would say they need to take out... I think that they need to like as far as content, like dungeons and stuff. I don't think there needs to be as many. If they can condense the story into a fewer, I think they just need to like game wide take out stuff like sort of jump from Sastasha to the third dungeon. Like like I don't think it needs to. I don't think there needs to be like so many in between. Like I know that they're good content and that it kind of sucks that we've experienced them and people coming in haven't. But why do they need to do it if they can bridge the gap?
Like, everyone's getting experience off the game anyways. And you have nothing else to do. Like you'll be happy to have free dungeons because the content is really spaced out.
But if they do it so that way, as you're going through the dungeons, they're giving you more experience, so you're already ready for the next one. There doesn't need to be like where there's 10, there could be 4 or like 5. I cut them in half, and then you do those 5 to get to the end because the next if you're just starting, say you're the next expansion, whatever it is, you've got 3 expansions to get to.
Well, the other thing is that also most of them are tied to story.
Yeah, I recently started. I got an alt last. I think it was last month because they were doing that thing where like if you get to like level 30 on a very low populated server, you get like 15 days for free.
Oh right.
So I was doing that, and I actually got to start the game all over again on a new character. But it came with a special bonus you get to like it basically doubles your experience or something on your below level 60. And once you reach level 60 on your first class or job, that's it. The buff is over. So I was doing things maybe a bit faster than someone without the buff would, but there were still some issues where like I totally understand like where you're coming from, where you want to like reduce the number of dungeons, but the way the story was panning out, like you have to do Sastasha to like leave Limsa and be able not leave Limsa, but there's like a certain you have to understand like all 3 of the different like city states.
Yeah,
and then you understand why you have to destroy the primals, and like Lenoche has Sastasha, and there's that mining Copperbell Mines. I think that's like Ulda. Yeah, and then the other one I forgot their name of.
Gridania
I think
has
Helvetii. I think Helvetii. That's Gridania. So
Wait,
you have to do.
Italia's in this game?
It's a dungeon.
Italians.
Helvetii.
No, yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's all tied to progression, and it's weird because it's like it's a curse and it's a gift. Like about
I know, and it's really I find it really difficult. Like I don't think there's one perfect solution.
Yeah, there isn't. That's what I'm saying. I think it just needs to be I think one more expansion, and they need to be like on to the next game, like the next.
There's
MMO.
people who don't care about the story in like an
MMO.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I feel like we have to make the exception here because it's Final Fantasy, and like Final Fantasy, like without a story, like what?
Yeah, what's the point? I mean, people have come to. I don't know. Yeah, you can't. You're gonna piss off one side either way. So I think that you just have to be like, look, these dungeons are tied to the story. That's how we built the game. It's something that a lot of people love about it. We're not going to go back and change it. And it's a rite of passage. You have to go through it. It's like a barrier of entry. Either you deal with it or you buy a jump potion if you want to spend the money. But until we reset, like that's how it's going to be. I don't think they can be like, I don't think there's anything they could do. Like to get rid of them, they'd have to rework so much and then focus time on that, and then people would be pissed that they're not focusing that time and effort and money on a new expansion and on fixing the end game for us or other people. So I don't know. I think it's a win. It's a win-lose, whatever. So I think that it needs to be like one more expansion and then on to the next game. That's how I
think
feel.
it's too
Final Fantasy 16?
Something.
Yeah, something like that. But
I think
yeah,
they should drop a number. I don't know. They should just online.
Final Fantasy 15 online.
Yeah, that's what it is on Steam.
Kind of my tangents. Otherwise, I've been playing a bit of Overwatch, a bit of PUBG with you guys. Discovered that game actually since I got in late compared to the rest of you.
Oh, PUBG? Yeah.
Yeah. Fun game. Played some. I've got some limited run stuff. So I got Fury on PS4, which I already played, but I wanted that game again, so I got the box. And I think that's pretty much. Probably I've been playing Binding of Isaac on the Switch and stuff like that.
Wait, you bought a limited run thing?
Yeah.
Fury.
How fast was that?
To get it?
To like order and then
shipment?
Getting it to your home.
Well, that one was pretty fast. Like it took, since it came from the US, and by the time they ship, because they don't always ship immediately, since some stuff they ship later. But like Fury, I think it took a week and a half or 2 weeks after I ordered.
Wow.
And there's another one I bought recently, which was Jotun, the guys who made Sundered recently. And that game, they said straight up, like, yeah, you can buy it now, and that was like last month, but we only get shipments in August. So, and I've just received today, actually, that the copy's been shipped. So I expect that it's going to come next week.
You know, because I bought like a limited run thing for Skullgirls back in January. No, I pre-ordered it in October. It was supposed to ship in January, and I'm still waiting.
Really? And, you might have to contact
No.
them.
No. They've Lab Zero has like made a whole bunch of announcements saying, here's a roadmap of what went wrong.
Oh god!
And basically, they have to, since it's like not like a. It's not like a PlayStation. It's not a version of the game. It's a physical version of the game, so it counts as a different version. So they have to patch it, and they have to like send it through PlayStation Network, and then they have to get it through the Xbox and thing.
Everything has to be approved.
And then
everything has gone wrong for them, and I don't mean that in like a the game is great, but just like everything. Their
Kickstarter, their Indiegogo, everything has gone like they must be cursed. Honestly, I've been following them for years, and like everything they do, just like it's like a huge problem. I'm actually surprised they've managed to stay alive and together this long.
Weren't they making another game?
Indivisible, yeah. Or it's like all those special cameos from like Shovel Knight and whatnot. All those indie
pretty
games.
Much every indie character.
Yeah.
Damn. Like I think they had to shoehorn them in just to get all this.
It didn't look like it was going to get funded otherwise, which is too bad because I liked a lot of the designs.
Yeah.
They had. It looked neat, and I like. They got talented animators obviously working.
Actually, backed it, but then once I saw people weren't like once the vanilla version, let's say, wasn't getting funded, and they started shoehorning like Shovel Knight and whatnot, that's when I backed out. No offense to like anyone that likes Shovel Knight. I haven't played it, and I hear good things about it, and I really want to play it. But like, I just feel like that's kind of like I don't know. I guess betraying.
It's like the poster boy of indie, and it seems like they're using it as a cash
out. Shovel Knight's in a bunch of things. Hyper Light Drifter Man is in a bunch of things, and then there's that other guy who gets his OC into everything. You know that one, like the dude who like double wields boomerangs.
Who?
Oh, well, he was in Shovel Knight too. Like,
he was in Shovel Knight. He was in Momodora.
Double boomerangs?
Yeah, I see which one, but I didn't realize he was in more than one game of what he was just on Shovel Knight.
Oh, no. Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Captain Boomerang from The Flash.
It's like Australian Dante with the boomerang.
But isn't like Indivisible
crazy, mate?
Like, isn't Indivisible the whole point of it is that it has a lot of indie cameos? Like, I thought that was kind of the play on word with the title.
It wasn't the original point, no.
Really? Okay.
No, I thought it was just a story about that girl.
Yeah, it had a bunch of
her fighting or something, like to find her dad or something. You know?
Yeah.
And
then Shovel Knight's there.
I mean,
the Hyper Light Drifter guy's there.
I don't want to be mean. Is Red from Transistor in it? I don't want to be
like
so.
I think he
probably
actually.
Wow, I don't want to be like mean to him because I get the whole band together to find success because we're not really AAA. But like, it's kind of gotten old. Like even Ukulele did it. Shovel Knight's in that too, right?
John Tron was out. You said that.
They've got the guy from
Bada Bing Bada Boom.
The guy from Guacamelee. The someone from Skullgirls, and some radical. He looks like a Tyrannosaurus with a skateboard, and he's wearing those.
He's from
shades, and he's got little swim trunks on.
He's from that game.
I can't even read the title.
Hyper
Time Force,
Super Hyper Time Force, or something like that. I liked it. That was a good game. But,
and that's the thing. These are all good games.
But please don't shoehorn them in.
It just feels weird. Like, make a Smash Bros. If you're going to have that many guest characters.
I was just going to say that. They just need to do that already. Just make a Smash Bros. Like, just do that. Why not?
But I'm weird. I don't like guest characters in general, unless it's like a thing like Smash Bros. Or Marvel vs. Capcom, where that's the whole point.
Dante.
Is that it's a crossover. It's just weird when, you got Yoda in Soul Calibur.
That was cool. Well, not Yoda, but...
No,
Darth Vader.
Well,
and
it wasn't that cool. No,
because I remember also Indivisible had some problems getting money for their funding initially, Like they needed to get an extension. So, and having worked a bit on marketing with like a producer, getting other indies in your game is also a way to just signal boost.
Oh yeah,
and getting more fun. So I kind of guess it is also a way for them to easily get more money because they were just below the whole thing at some point. Well, not just below, but like they were far from the actual goal, but they still got a good amount of money. So I kind of get why it doesn't bother me as much as like if it was a game that was already popular and then it got suddenly a bunch of stuff just to shoehorn them in. Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I don't have much of a problem with that.
To me, it feels like it had a very strong visual style and sense of identity with all the characters being from this sort of, Indian, Southeast Asian, Middle Eastern sort of thing. A lot of really cool sort of stuff of regions that are like people don't make use of that enough in video games. Like there's a lot of just cool design motifs and stuff. Like the dude with the frickin' giant floppy sword. It's like a ribbon sword, and that's like a real thing that they have in Thailand or whatever. Cool. And then you have a skateboarding dinosaur and a luchador.
Well, like I think what Various' point is, or what I think is, and what I agree with, is also that this game, Indivisible or whatever it's called, is I don't have a problem with other like Shovel Knight doing it. Shovel Knight doing it is different because the game was established and then they shoehorned in the characters or added them. Let the game come out with this girl first. Let that be successful, which obviously they need the money to make the game. But I'm saying like it'd be different. It wouldn't be as like not scummy. Well, I guess the word is scummy, but like it wouldn't be as bad if it was she has her own game, and then the second part or for DLC they added other characters that you know. But it's like no, they're in this. I promise it's good because we have them in it too. Like that kind of feels like weird. I think the game should come out first.
Scummy.
Yeah, not scummy. Scummy's a bad word for it.
I think they just compromised their art direction. I think that's all that happened.
That's the thing for me. Yeah.
Have confidence in the game, but I know the money problem sucks. Like it's an indie.
I mean, it's still
developer.
Drawn by like the characters are still drawn by them. So I'd say in terms of art direction, it's still going to be coherent.
Yeah.
You could have a weird dinosaur. Like I think maybe the dinosaur or the skateboard is probably the most outlandish one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows though? Like in the future, that might be us. Like we might. That's human history's heading towards the dinosaurs.
Maybe I will be a dinosaur.
One last thing also before we get on to news, because we've been going on our weeks for a bit. But funnily enough, I did play one more thing, and it's kind of funny to me because basically there was this MMO way back, even before WoW, when I started my MMO craze, which was called Dark and Light. Which was made by some French expats on an island. I forgot the name of the island. That's where all the dodos were before. And they made this game called Dark and Light, which was supposed to be this huge, massive MMO. Like, it was supposed to be at this point where, like, the MMO where you can do everything. And, like, really, really, really expansive list of features. And needless to say, it failed.
Let me guess, you couldn't do everything?
Yeah, you could barely do anything. Like, it still had a big world, but, like, it was super janky. The guy who made the engine left the company, and with him, it took the, like, engine with him, and so there was, like, lawsuits and all that stuff. So, massive mess. It's considered, like, probably one of the biggest MMO mess in the French community, because it had a very active French player base at the time. And that game never got out of beta. Like, it got sold as, like, probably the earliest example I can remember of early access, like, on this commercial level.
Yeah. And
basically it stayed into its beta state, got a few updates, then just died off. Then all of a sudden, the last thing I heard is that it got bought by a Chinese company years ago. And that's pretty much the last thing I've heard. It's like they've been slowly retooling it, but they didn't know what game they were going to make with it. And recently, as of last month, I think, so they've re-released Dark and Light on Steam as a kind of Ark survival type game, but with all the updated assets and look. Well, not even look, because a lot of it has been updated since 2003. but it's basically being reborn as a completely different game, which is a mixture between survival and RPG. And I've tried to play it, and it doesn't run well on my computer. I think I need, my GPU is just not good enough.
Wow.
But it was kind of funny to see, this old janky-ass RPG being reborn as a janky-ass survival game.
Wow. That's insane.
But,
Therefore,
yeah,
I'm at a loss for words.
I can't even put together a sentence.
but the game itself, I've seen people stream it, and looks pretty okay. It has some RPG elements, but you could still build your own thing. So I'm kind of looking forward to see where does it go, because I kind of like this concept.
Is it still called Dark and Light?
Yeah, it's still called Dark and Light.
No, they changed the name to Dark Souls.
Dark
Skyrim
Soul.
2.
It still even has the old logo from the game back from 2002, 2003.
Crazy.
So that's kind of funny. But yeah, it's not super stable right now, so I'm gonna wait. But yeah, that's pretty much been the last thing I've been playing.
I'll play it when they put Shovel Knight in. Anyway. All right, guys, that's all what we've been playing for the past couple of months since our last episode. Let's take a break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about some news points that we want to hit on, and then maybe something else after that. I'm not sure.
Fighting games.
Ooh. All right, we'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome to the break. I wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Half Lemon Game Studios. They're a small developer with big dreams to make the games you never realized you always wanted to play. You can check out their upcoming project called Embers of Aztlan. It's a strategy game with a Mesoamerican fantasy setting. That's Embers of Aztlan, and you can check them out at facebook.com/Half Lemon Game Studios. That's Embers of Aztlan, Aztlan, in case you want to type it into the Google. This episode is also brought to you by Helvetii. Helvetii is an action game that revolves around the exploration and reimagining of the Gaulish and Helvetian mythos. Mixed with fast and varied combat mechanics, you will take the control of either a young Helvetian warchief, a man born from a beast, or a druid who shunned his brethren as you travel to fight to reverse a curse placed upon you and your land. You can check out more at helvetiigame.com. That's HELVETII-game.com.
You know, they found a little statue in one of the Aztec temples that resembled Shovel Knight.
I know they found a stone mask in one of those places a couple years ago, right when the JoJo anime was airing, and everyone was like, "Oh shit,
It's real. Anime is real."
Let's put it on a horse. Let's see what happens.
Thank you, Ron Paul.
That picture of AC/DC waking up, cars waking up. AC/DC is AC/DC. Put one of the Aztec mask, but on a horse, and they both start freaking out.
Love those guys. Did anyone, this isn't video game talk, but did anyone see the
You guys live action?
Right, well, yeah, there's the live action, but also they did a special adapting one of the Rohan.
No, I've seen, but I've missed that. I've missed both of these actually. Yeah. But I've heard I have a friend who saw the live action, and he told me what happens. By the way, so I guess I'm just gonna go straight into that, and we can keep that for the recording.
We're recording right now?
Are we?
I guess.
We can just bring it up naturally.
I was doing it pretty good.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, caught me off guard. I was looking up something. Oh, so we're back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. What are we talking about?
Yeah, wait, JoJo.
Yeah.
JoJo. Oh, here we go.
So we were just talking about... so there's been the live-action movie that's released, and so the movie is basically the first part for the entire first half, and the first thing is that it has a weird... complete emphasis on Josuke's granddad. He's almost the main character in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which kind of makes it... Oh, spoilers, but I guess, it's a 20-year-old story at this point, so... so it kind of makes it more, dramatic when he dies at this point. But it also... And you see...
Wait, he doesn't... Okay.
No, he dies. He dies still.
Whoa, spoilers! I'm just playing.
Who?
Who dies?
The
Jojo
grandpa.
Man.
Huh.
Shut up.
Yu-Gi-Oh's grandpa?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's weird though, because he doesn't die in the
No, he
anime or
doesn't.
manga. So...
No, he does die in the manga. He gets killed by Aqua Necklace. No, not Aqua. Yes, is it Aqua
Oh, him. Oh, okay. I thought you meant his actual. Oh, that's right. That's right. Hold on. I thought you were talking about Grandpa Joseph, who is his actual father, not
no,
his
not
grandfather.
Joseph.
Grandpa Joe from
No,
Willy Wonka?
Yeah. No,
The
yeah,
gets
I know.
killed by-
You got the policeman guy, right?
Yeah,
We've got a golden ticket. No, fuck you, Grandpa Joe. I have
No,
a
the-
golden ticket. You have shit.
yeah. He gets killed by Angelo. Like most of the movie also centers around Angelo. You see, I think, a little bit of Star Platinum and stuff like that.
Okay, that is an interesting direction to take it.
Yeah.
Then. Okay, to make him,
And-
you said, one of the main characters. That's weird. Okay.
And at the end of the movie, straight up, like, sheer heart attack bursts out of nowhere and explodes. And that's basically to set up the second movie that's gonna come, which is gonna be probably just full on Kira. But I like how there's no leading into it's like, oh, now he has sheer heart attack.
I mean,
That's the way to go.
they must assume that everyone watching it already knows
Yeah.
all that
But
stuff, but
It's funny you see him first before Killer Queen at all. It's just like,
Yeah.
here's his sheer heart attack, by the way.
Plot
but-
device.
A friend of mine so told me like the funniest moment because he was watching this at a film festival back. That was when I was doing a game jam, so back in early June.
Mhm.
So there was mostly all fans of JoJo in there, and he said the best reaction they had is when they did that same scene that's in the manga or anime when Grandpa dies, and Jotaro comes up and says, "Well, I'm sorry, but there's no way that you can bring back your grandpa out from death," says the man who brought his own grandpa from death. After his said grandpa has been literally been drained of blood, and you
For like
see
10
him going to the
minutes at
skies
least.
in the anime.
Mhm.
But no, he's fine,
Yeah,
but I
Jotaro's
can't
a
do
little
anything for
bitch.
you. And apparently everybody laughed at that moment.
I like just the screen cap of or the panel of like after that happened and Josuke like trashes all his furniture or whatever because he's all pissed. There's the panel of Jotaro standing in there. He says, "Well, this is your furniture."
Oh man.
But yeah, apparently, but if you don't, this is a good movie for fans. If you
Mhm.
don't know anything about JoJo, do not go watch this movie.
If you don't know anything about JoJo, save yourself. It'll corrupt your mind.
It's a black hole.
Yeah,
3 seasons
Yeah.
walk away.
You'll never
Because
escape.
apparently, there was a person who didn't know anything about JoJo who was in the attendance, and she. It's not that she hated it, but she was so confused that I think it actually physically hurt her.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. It's like, why would you go to those things without any kind of prerequisite of what any of that is? Like, oh, Joe, I don't know what this is. I guess it's a.
I don't know. I get you could go to the Kenshin, the live action Kenshin. You could go into it and get what's happening because it starts from the beginning.
Right, like an
You
origin
start,
story, though.
Or you
Yeah.
could, go into the live action Ghost in the Shell, or wait, no, don't do that either.
Don't
Never
do
mind.
that. You would get what happened. It would just be sad.
Yeah. So about them video games.
Oh yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
welcome back to your number one JoJo cast, guys. No, so we got some stuff to talk about news wise. Let's start it off by saying, Varia, how many amiibo do you own?
0.
Well, get ready to buy 4. No, I'm just playing.
No.
Yeah. What are we talking about here?
Let's get started, I guess, with the more crappier, relevant because there will be
If this is the Samus one, they had one for the Smash game, and I still didn't buy that one.
Yeah,
so they
but-
can keep it.
basically it will confirm there is hatred for Nintendo because basically for the new Metroid 3DS game, Samus Returns, they've been very dodgy in how they've been phrasing it, but there's supposed to be a hard mode that's locked behind an amiibo.
Squishy
And-
Gel Metroid amiibo.
Yeah, and
Right.
it's only the new Samus amiibo. So if you have the old one, tough luck. It doesn't work.
That those just give you like little power ups or something.
Yeah, I think maybe a costume, but that pretty much.
It's like art. It's artwork and like a missile pod or something.
Yeah, but that pretty much illustrates that now we're getting to the point where a lot of the amiibos that you own, like the initial point of amiibos is where like there were permanent DLC that would be used for several games.
And right, and that's something... that's what I thought that was cool about it, and be like, oh, it's an investment. You buy it once, but then, like, you get use out of it in multiple games. It. But
it turns out, nope. Like, they just found that people will keep buying them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they want to make more.
New ones without restocking the old ones.
So we should say that it's not... It's behind this amiibo specifically, it's not the hard mode, it's a fusion mode, but there is a hard mode in the game.
There is a hard mode you can unlock, but apparently it's not the same as the fusion hard mode. So there's
so in order to appease everyone who was angry, they just like, we added another tier, but it's like the problem still exists. It's not the ultimate hard mode. That's one that's locked behind.
Just saw the fire. Like, we're gonna put a bit of oil on there. That's gonna make the fire prettier.
What's the fusion mode? What's the difference?
Ultra hard mode.
Really?
Yeah,
still locked behind.
We don't exactly know, but it seems like so far the phrasing makes it look like it's going to be basically two different modes, like two different types of hard mode.
Yeah.
And one, it was just that one of them is locked behind a $15 figurine that you have to buy.
Well, that's where it comes in, where it's hard for me to not understand. It's hard for me to decide how I feel about this, because it sucks. But then it's like, if it was DLC on the eShop, you'd buy it, right? So what's the difference between buying it and getting a figure? I mean, you could throw the figure away, I guess.
Yeah. The difference is the figures aren't good.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could throw the figure in the trash.
It's just a waste of money. Like, I buy figures, but I buy good figures. If
right,
they were...
but I'm saying, if you were going to buy the DLC and it didn't come with a figure, you could buy the one with the figure and throw the figure away, and it's like you're paying for the DLC.
Well, the thing is, if I could buy the DLC for less money, like $5, I'd be okay. Because I don't necessarily want the figure.
Right. Okay, you're paying for that, right?
But that's the thing. It's like on one hand, I'm forced to buy the figure. The other sucky thing is that people who bought the original Samus amiibo were expecting that they could use it, like we said, where you could reuse your amiibos in future games to unlock stuff. And at this point, there's more and more amiibos who have just this one use and nothing else.
Yeah, I think that amiibos are on the way out in general, though, because the whole Toys to Life thing, like, the fad's passed.
I would say I would agree with you
because
completely because of the Switch. If it wasn't for the Switch having that capability innate, like, in the hardware, I would agree with you 100%. But because these things are selling like hotcakes and
they're
not
the
anymore,
money, though. They're really not.
What?
See if I can find a graph or something about it.
I'm just saying that these things are in the hands of people, and I feel like I don't think they're on their way out. I don't think that I feel like the marketing has changed behind what amiibo are, and I don't like it, because like you're saying, it was supposed to be like, the Samus Smash amiibo that I have should do all Metroid stuff forever, like, just like the Zelda one should. But then again, look at the Zeldas. There's like fucking 30 now. There's like 30 different links, and so I feel like it's changed and it's skewed, and they're gonna like break off into like, this game has their 5 amiibo and this game has their 5 amiibo, instead of like Nintendo made one Mario amiibo and that does all the Mario stuff because they see the money. But I mean, I don't know, maybe they're on their way out. I mean, I know Disney Infinity is dead, and what's the other one?
Yeah, Disney Infinity is dead.
Skylanders is on hiatus, which basically
much,
dead.
Oh man, I'm trying to find.
I know it'd be news to me because I had
some data about it, but I know that I have seen for sure that like Nintendo's amiibo sales are down. Like,
is it because they don't have any?
They're down like 80% from last year.
Right. I mean, it's
a crazy drop, and it's. I when I say on the way out, I mean like in 5 years they'll be gone. You know what I mean? Like they'll slowly trickle off.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's possible. I could see that happening. I mean, not saying hopefully, but if this is the way they're going to treat them,
it's like, whatever, whatever Switch's successor, whatever that will be, in whatever form that takes, amiibo will not be a priority. Will not happen for. That's my hot take.
The
Switch U.
Yeah, the Switch U.
Yeah, but So anyway, so the fusion mode is locked behind amiibo, and it's
Yeah.
huge controversy because it's their way of doing DLC and stuff, and people don't like
And
it.
it's kind of bad. Like, everything about Nintendo outside of software still continues to baffle me.
Yeah, their multiplayer, their online experience.
Like, I've been talking to people who in stores, and they're still like low on stock on pretty much everything from Nintendo is low on stock.
Yeah,
Like amiibos, consoles, pre-orders, everything.
it's a shame. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna get Metroid 3D, whatever it's called, Samus Returns, though. I mean,
But
maybe.
you know who does what Nintendo don't?
Sega.
Sega, and most importantly, Sonic.
Sonic Mania looks rad as hell, my bros.
Sonic Mania looks fucking amazing and sounds fucking amazing. They've been releasing more and more tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Sang and I have been like really impatient for that game. And recently, like just before the podcast started, there's been a stream of a leak because it's apparently the collector's edition has leaked somewhere.
Ooh,
So a guy's been streaming it.
Leakies.
He's been going from stream to stream because he keeps being taken down by Sega. But so I'm not gonna say straight up what's in that game, but that game's for real.
Dante.
And no, but
If it's Shovel Knight, so help me God. I swear to God, if it's Shovel Knight running
no,
fast.
but there are things like I won't say what it is, but there are straight up other games in that game.
What is it like? What was that game? Not Pony Island. What's that game where it was like a game within a game?
Frog
And everybody,
Fractions.
Frog, yeah.
Yeah, Frog
Is
Factions.
that what this is? Is this the new Frog Factions?
But
Dark Souls
more
4? What?
Wait, what?
I think-
Frog factions?
Frog
Yeah, you never
Fractions.
heard
Have
about
you not
Frog
played Frog
Fractions?
Fractions?
No.
I mean, I haven't played it, but I know
Oh,
what it
it's
is.
good. You ought to play it.
That's too much for me, man.
How old is it?
It's not
the
that
first
old.
one is like
Like-
4 years old, I think.
2012.
Let's
Oh,
do
yeah,
a
so
rundown
5.
for very what Frog Fractions is. So Frog Fractions was a game that came out that was like hidden. A game was hidden within the game, and when people found it, it was like all these references to other games, right? And then they announced that the next one was going to come out, and they never said what it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then people found what it was when it recently came out. What was this, like last year, or was it this
Yeah,
year?
yeah, like last year.
Some
Frog
the game is
Fractions
called
2.
some fairy something, whatever it is. I forgot what the actual game is called.
Yeah.
But in the game, when you get to do a certain thing, it becomes Frog Factions 2, which is like a whole other thing. So it's like a game hidden in a game.
Oh, cool.
So the big joke was always like, what's Frog Factions 2? What is it? It could be anything. It could have been Overwatch. It could, like, that was the whole
Yeah.
running joke. It could have been anything. Nobody knew what it was. But then people found it in this Steam game. I forgot what it's like.
Glitter Mitten Grove.
Glitterman Grove,
Yeah.
that's right.
It's presented as a completely
Yeah, it's like its own
unrelated
game.
game, but
Yeah.
you just play long enough and it just said like, oh, wait a minute.
This is
Here's
Frog
the real
Factions 2,
game.
yeah.
Like you're playing in the first, like when you start up, you play as like a fairy management game.
Yeah.
Like you manage your fairy village, and then suddenly it goes into some kind of dwarf fortress type of game, and then it changes to some other type of game.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's a Flappy Bird part. There's a text adventure part.
It's all about the meta.
Yeah.
It's basically a guy who saw
It's
a
an
book on
experience.
game design, burned it, and then made a game.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But anyways, why are we talking about that?
We were talking
no.
about Sonic Mania
Oh,
because
that's
I was
right.
saying like there's literally another game in that game.
Well, so without giving spoilers, I don't know if we should even. Oh yeah, sure. But without giving spoilers, when you say that, do you
Yeah.
mean it's still Sonic related, or
It's
not?
still Sonic
Okay.
related.
Okay, all right.
Like, but people are gonna go like it's basically an entire boss fight,
Oh,
and it suddenly it will switch completely to something else. And I saw that like because it never even crossed my mind because there's been some release of like, oh, here's the special stage, and so far it looks so much like, hey, this is the Sonic game that the Saturn never had. In terms of it
Right.
mixes everything from like old Sonic games, but also like it has a 3D, like a real 3D special stage and stuff like that. But then I saw the streams, like I did not even expect them to go that far. And there are even some like people have been kind of freaking out because there seems to be some links to even Sonic Forces.
oh, right, that
Oh.
new game.
like it might like.
Well, see,
in
when
some
you're
way
talking
to
about
it.
this, that's what I was thinking it was. Is I thought it went to like a 3D kind of Sonic more.
That,
No,
I don't know.
That'd be crazy if it had like a demo for Sonic Forces or whatever the hell.
No,
in
but
it.
people will play it because it's very early on, and when you guys will play it, and I'm gonna get that day one, but you'll know exactly what I mean when you get to that boss thing.
I played a card game once, one of the collectible card game things. I forget which. It wasn't like a licensed one. It was just some other one. I want to say like Champions of Hero-topia or something like that. But there was one card that says to resolve this card's effect, shuffle all the cards back in each player's deck and start a new game. The winner of that game determines
Jesus.
what this effect applies on. And then
What
it has
the
like
fuck?
a note that says this can stack. So you
What the
can
heck?
continue looping
You
games.
never
This can
stop
stack.
playing. But yeah, Sonic Mania. I think because so far, talking about Shovel Knight is that so far Shovel Knight has been, for me, one of the best 2D platformers that's been made in recent years, if not ever.
I agree.
But I think Sonic Mania might take that spot
Yeah,
because it
I
does
mean,
so many crazy
I
shit.
don't know.
And
Gameplay wise, those Sonic games have never hooked me. You know that. I'm not into them. The Sonic game that I was like, the only one that I ever
okay,
really...
calm down.
Sorry, the only one that I ever really
Okay,
liked was
okay.
Sonic Adventure. Is Sonic Adventure in this?
No,
Okay,
Oh.
never mind.
Its real
Well,
name is
drop
Sonic
it.
Adventure.
at least I haven't seen it.
I mean, like, is what you're talking about? Like, is it like Adventure 3?
I'm not gonna.
Okay,
I'm
never
not
mind.
gonna say
Alright.
more, but because it comes out in 4 days now.
Oh, right.
Five
Really?
Nights at Freddy's, what?
That's what it is. That's
I'm not even-
it's the next Five Nights at Freddy's hidden in a Sonic game.
Sonics, and
I'm
Sonic
thinking
just
about
pops up
this-
in front of your face with whoa.
Thinking about this huge twist, right? Like, whoa, I'm supposed to, like, and after hearing about frog factions, I'm thinking, oh shit, what is it? So, like, in my head, I'm imagining Sonic running, and then, like, the level zooming out, and it says, and Knuckles. So that's like what's in my head. Oh shit, I've been running.
I've been nuts this
Considering
whole time.
who runs the Sonic Twitter, I would not be surprised if at some point it's something like that.
Oh man, can't wait for those tweets today at
Oh,
launches.
and anyway, that's Sonic Mania. And speaking of card games, Valve announced a new game.
Boo!
That happened.
God,
What is it? It's a Dota card game.
Writing my angry rant right now.
So for those who don't know, what exactly happened was the Dota International whatever annual Dota contest competition thing they have, right? They announced some games during it.
A
Is that when
tournament,
this happened?
one might
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah, so Valve was like, we have a new game, and they were teasing a new game, and it was like, cool, and they started playing a trailer, and it showed a game called Artifact, and everybody was like, what is this? Is this like
What is this?
Valve's take on Destiny / Anthem? This could be anything.
Most of
And
it,
just-
like people were like, "Oh wow, it's a new Valve game." We
yeah,
haven't
like
seen that
insane.
in,
It's
like,
been forever, like,
years.
awesome. And then like underneath in small text, a Dota card game, and everybody in the crowd collectively just like, oh.
Yeah, I don't think like I have never seen like hype deflate at this
Yeah.
point.
It's
Even
crazy.
like we're gonna talk about Evo afterwards, but it beat a specific thing at
Yep.
Evo.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just it's heartbreaking, and I feel for everybody. But then I don't know, there's people who like Dota, so I guess they're happy.
Also, smaller news. So we got a bit of Dissidia news. So they've been confirming that 1v1 is going to be a mode. So that's cool because I don't much like 3v3.
And
They've
Jack
shown,
is in there.
yeah, Jacked. They shown a Jack trailer, which also looks really really cool. And I love him because he's still like I think in Japanese at the end he still taunts his son. So that's
Really?
perfect. That's what I want him to do. Apparently today a demo for Monster Hunter Double Cross came out on Switch. So
Is
There's
that how you're
some
supposed to
demo-
pronounce it? Double cross?
yeah, when you see an X in the Japanese titles, it's actually it's most of the time it's just pronounced
Yeah,
cross.
yeah, I know that, but
Yeah.
two of them.
Yeah, it's
Like
double
X?
cross.
That actually sounds kind of cool, but it makes it sound piratical. You know?
Why wouldn't you say crisscross?
Yeah, I
Crisscross.
know. Monster Hunter
I mean, no, I
Crisscross.
like double cross.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense now.
Crisscross is
I've been
cool.
saying a lot of like titles that have X on them, like X and
Mhm.
Cross sounds way.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
Wait,
everyone-
what?
Well, it's like Street
Like,
Fighter Cross
like-
Tekken, you know?
Yeah, Street
right?
Fighter
Yeah.
Cross Tekken,
Mhm.
Project Cross Zone.
Or
Mega Man
Fire
Cross.
Emblem
Guilty Gear
Cross,
Cross-Zerd.
whatever.
No,
already
that's
forgot.
just Zerd.
It's-
No, there's no
Mega Man
cross.
Cross,
Mega Man
Final
Cross
Fantasy
2.
Cross,
Mega Man Cross, no.
Hunter Cross Hunter, all of those.
Cross.
Uh,
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Oh, And last thing before we get into Evo, so
BMX motocross is what it stands for, right?
I've been pronouncing it like saying it like XXX. So like Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
Oh, I don't know if like we have to say Guilty Gear Exard or Crossard.
Yeah, I say Exard.
I say Exard.
I say Exard just because
that's
like
how the game says it is. Exard.
Yeah. Exard.
But when's Monster
what a
Hunter
dumb
Triple
name.
X?
I'm sorry, what a dumb name.
It's dumb, I also love it.
Yeah.
We got an announcement today that Overwatch is getting its deathmatch mode.
Deathmatch, baby.
The thing that they said no, and finally they said yes.
Check the fucking scoreboard.
What is it? Like, just straight up deathmatch?
It just kills. It's like if you ever played Halo, all that matters is kills.
With against 7, there's a free-for-all mode, so you play by yourself against 7 other people.
And there's
so you could
and that wasn't one of the default modes?
No, I think it was like at some point an arcade thing, but they kind of made it an official arcade
Jeff had
thing.
said from early on deathmatch was never going to happen. He was like, no, Overwatch is a team-based thing, and then just like the video's literally called "Never Say Never," and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I was fucking joking."
It's going to come with a new map, which is centered around Widowmaker, like the castle of her family,
her family's house or something.
Yeah, her family's estate.
Yeah.
Where they make the widows.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they just kill
they bring all the husbands, kill them.
Yeah, it's a factory of killing them husbands.
So probably gonna pick the game up again because I haven't played in a bit. But that matchups.
I logged in yesterday or the day before. I didn't really check out the event. I actually hate Lucio Ball. I think it's just stupid. I'm not sure why people play it or find it or think it's like more in depth than the actual game because it's not. But I logged in and I'm like, you know what? I'm probably not going to play this game for a little bit more, a few more months because I'm like playing 14. Mm-hmm. So I slap like PayPal account on that $50 or that $40 50 loot box thing. And then I get like almost everything except for like the new McCree skin and the new 76 skin. And like maybe I got the Sombra skin too. That's all I'm missing.
Did you get Widow and?
Yeah, I got Widows and Mercies. I'm like, you know what? I'm good with this. I don't have to log in.
I did what I came here for.
Like I didn't mind. It's $40. It's like, it doesn't bother me.
Varian, you paid like $300 for this game already. Jeff is like,
I really don't care, because in the long run, I really don't care how I spend my money as long as I'm like happy.
Hey,
so
that's my philosophy. I'm sorry.
I could use some money actually if you're willing to make some investments.
That doesn't
what
make
do you
me
need?
at all.
I won't fund your little crystal MOBA game. Not a MOBA game. Your mobile game.
You're just whipping out the checkbook right now. Just like how many zeros you want that?
2 poon. $1.
Yeah.
How many like rainbow crystals for my 10+1 drop?
I've been playing Overwatch again, trying to get some skin drops. I've got nothing so far.
I stopped since they nerfed Roadhog super hard because it was one of my favorites, and they just axed him completely.
And just wait a few. He'll come
I
back.
heard they made him skinny.
I think I'm the only person here who likes playing the Mayhem arcade mode, right?
You're mentally ill.
I love it. It's so cool. You get all your shit fast.
No, you don't understand, but everyone else does too.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's like high paced, and it takes forever to like get a point. If you're playing on Eichenwald and you play Symmetra and you're playing defense, it's the funnest shit ever. You're just like, no one can kill you. No one can kill you. Oh yeah, pushing sucks. No, but then you just go Winston. And, I don't know. All right, well, anyways.
And last thing I just wanted to touch upon before we go Evo is something came out. I kind of forgot it was being made, and suddenly it was out, and that's Hellblade, aka Hellblade Senua Sacrifice.
Is that a crossover game?
No. It's Hell Crossblade actually.
Hell Cross.
Hellblade is made by Ninja Theory.
Actually. Hell Cross game.
It's the Ninja Theory game, so I also call it like Ninja Theory's apology after DMC.
What else they did Enslaved, right? And what else
they did Enslaved, DMC, some other game I forgot.
Sacred Sword or whatever?
Heavenly Sword.
Launch title for the Heaven Sword for the PS3.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the opposite, like Heavenly Sword, Hellblade, you kind of see the play on words.
Oh, I get it. It's like pottery, it rhymes.
Exactly.
Harry
Potter.
Potter.
Tell me why this game is so interesting.
So, this game's been kind of some kind of weird mixed things on Twitter recently, and I said, that's cool, I'm gonna check it out. Because it said, like, the whole thing about Hellblade is that it wanted to explore, like, kind of psychosis and
mental
schizophrenia, and mental health stuff. And I've seen, like, just the beginning when I played. I don't want to see too much because this game seems like the kind of game you don't want to spoil yourself on.
Yeah.
But, like, literally the first thing you see in the credits is, like, consulted psychiatrist and history research man. Like, these, even before the director or the writer, these are the two people you see first. So, like, yeah, okay, they're very serious about that. And there's even been, like, because Total Biscuit has been whining that is like, there's a permadeath thing in that game if you die too much. And then they came out and said,
save, right?
Yeah,
Total Biscuit, more like total loser. Huh?
Wow.
Whoa, dude! Come on, you can't say that to a guy with cancer.
Let me mark the time so I can beat that out because
we're
gonna get our funding cut. Come
on. No, but like he basically after the death said, but like it's not that it's fake. It's just like you kind of have to work for it to have your save deleted. Like it's not
you have to be really
easy
bad.
to die often that you get your save deleted. But basically, your character is being rotten from the inside. And every time you fail, the rot spreads. And when the rot spreads to your head, basically you lose everything.
So it's like Hangman.
Yes,
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Done.
But it's basically a video game version of Hangman.
Yes. But the thing is, I heard people saying that's flat out untrue. They said, like, I died 50 times.
Yeah, no, that's what they said. It's like, you still have to work for it. Like, it can happen. But it's like it's almost like hard to get it to happen.
Like you have to be
that's
trying
almost
to
a little
prove...
disappointing because I
like
really
the idea if it was more severe, actually.
Right. Well, it reminds me of that's how games used to be. You had lives and you had continues, right?
Yeah.
And some games just didn't give you continues. It's just like, hey, fuck you, and that's interesting. It would be not interesting if it was like a 40-hour RPG, but it's not.
No, for
it's
sure.
a short game.
It's a short game, and all you do is like you walk and you fight a boss. And
it's puzzles, and then there's some fighting. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so if it was something like if it gave you like 5 lives, that would be like interesting.
10 would be like enough.
Sure.
Like, 10 is a good number, but yeah, it seems like the combat seems okay. Like I've seen a bit of it, and like it doesn't have maybe as much oomph or action, but what it feels is also, it feels kind of nice and real. Like I really like the character design because she kind of looks like this weirdo. Like she looks, first of all, like they have some really good facial recognition tech. And,
I saw a thing and just like
they always have Ninja Theories
her throat as she's like breathing. I was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Wow,
no, it's like it's really super good. Pretty game. It's a super pretty game. But most of all, like this is a game I feel that it's not gonna go well over YouTube or stuff like this. Is a game that you have to play for yourself for the simple reason that the entire audio is it's like binaural audio.
Yeah.
Because you constantly hear voices. And
right,
if you have headphones on, like you need to have headphones on.
Like this is it's a game without a HUD, and the closest thing to the HUD is the sound listening
sound
to audio.
And literally
cues,
you have like voices in your head to say like watch out and
turn around and
it's really subtle. And I think that also a lot of people are not gonna like it because it does a really good job at making you paranoid and anxious. And I think that's great.
Good,
but it's certainly it's not gonna go over well for certain people who don't want to feel like this. But for me, I love that games like will generally make me uncomfortable in a good way.
It's like a book, if a book can make you feel that. I'm probably going to
pick that up, and I really want to talk about that on next podcast because after this podcast, I'll probably be doing because I'm going to go to PAX and TGS, so it's going to be a while. But I really, really, really want to pick that game up because now, it wasn't on my radar at all because, I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth because of Ninja Theory.
Mm-hmm.
But the concept looked interesting, and when I saw people kind of going at it on Twitter, it's funny because most of the things I see were negative, but I looked at it I want to play this now.
Yeah, I think it's getting good when that happens to see people calling something out, and you're like, oh, that just makes me interested, actually.
Yeah, how people shitting on permadeath, I like that. I kind of want to see where that goes because I would rather have a game that's kind of flawed but wants to say something that's super different
right,
than not have it. And it's like, it would just be like, okay, like it's just an action game where you kind of do your thing and then it's over.
Yeah.
but I mean, you're right, but I feel like what you were saying about it kind of sucks that they didn't go either way, like commit.
Yeah.
If it was all permadeath, like, or whatever, like, then I can see people being mad. I understand video games are a time sink, and when you're doing stuff, it takes
well,
up time.
I guess because technically it's an indie project, like they did that all by their own. So I guess at some point they went, well, we need this to sell. So I guess they had to rein it back, and they probably did some focus testing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've always sort of wanted, from a conceptual point, a game that doesn't just delete your save, but it corrupts the whole game, so you only get to play it once, and you just get one death, and that's it.
Wasn't that Kojima's
No, there was
idea of once. Or
there
something?
was one web browser game that was like that, which I think was just called. It was called One Life, and basically you played
Roblox.
Roblox, yeah. That's called Frog Fashion 3.
Yeah.
No, you basically played a father, and it was a week before you start the game and there's a virus release that's killing everyone. You have a week to find a cure, and you only have one shot. And you have throughout this week you play every day. And you have just a limited number of actions you can do every day, and depending on which actions you do, that will change the outcome at the end. Like if your daughter dies or doesn't die, but everybody else dies, or you save everyone, or there's a few other things. And once you play that game, then the game kind of locks, and you can't replay it at all. Unless you cheat, like reset your cookies and all that
right,
stuff.
yeah, exactly. That's the sort of thing, is that you couldn't really make a game. It'd be very hard to make a game that would actually prevent people. And
yeah, technically you couldn't really make that, but I guess in design you could say, I mean, Nier and Nier Automata are kind of the closest that comes to that, where you go to an ending and we'll just straight up delete your saves. Yeah, and yes, you can cheat around it, like you can save it on the PSN,
USB or something.
Well, I mean, everyone's favorite game, Undertale, also does that sort of thing, where if you get one ending, then the rest of the game will be, quote, corrupted from that point on, because you did that until you go in and change the things in the files. So it's an interesting thing, but I totally would not actually want to play the game that play Dark Souls, but you die once and you're done. All right, that was a fun 5 minutes.
It's because if it was free, it'd be different, I think. But because you're asking people to put an investment, $60, and then you can only try once. But I mean, hey, that's what arcades used to do, right?
I know, right? Yeah, you put in I spend your whole allowance, and then you're just done.
Yeah,
sucks.
But yeah,
speaking of arcades, you know what else is at arcades? Fighting games. You know what else is at fighting games? Evo.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, did you have more stuff to talk about there?
No,
I was going to ask you really quick. What are you going to pick it up on? Is it on PS4 and PC?
I think it's PS4 and PC. I might get on PC just because I have just a better setup for headphones. But I just want to see how well it runs. So I don't know yet.
All right, well, keep us updated next time. I'll let you play that one.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? Fighting.
Yeah.
Fighting
so
games.
Evo happened.
How long ago was this? How long ago was Evo?
Evo was about a month ago.
It was 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
first things first, can we say how cool it is that now Evo is basically fighting games E3?
Yeah,
that's true.
I love
That's
it.
very true. Yeah.
I fucking love. I really wish there was more events like this where, hey, this is fighting game E3, this is action game E3, this is RPG E3.
Action
game. Because it's great, because E3 happens, and it's got all its stuff, but then I'm thinking okay, now I wait a couple weeks and I'll get another round of trailers for this specific subset,
and usually you're happier because this is stuff that you're specifically interested in. If you're into fighting games,
right, exactly.
Anything that's going to be shown here, I'm going to be interested in one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
give me some tickets to Visual Novel E3.
yeah.
So
Visual Novel
what
E3
happened
in November or whatever?
So what happened at Evo? What was the big news?
Bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Who won?
Let's see. What I think the most, one of the things that I heard people saying basically is, it's so crazy that we can have Akuma and Geese Howard from Street Fighter and King of Fighters in Tekken, and then we can have Blaze Blue versus Ruby versus Persona versus Under Night In-Birth.
Oh, so we're going straight into reveals, we're not
right. We can have both of those crazy crossovers, but
Yeah, we don't
we
need to
can't
jump
have
promos.
X-Men in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh yeah, licensing.
Yeah.
Like,
sucks.
what's up with that, man?
My boy
But-
Yu Narakami's coming back though. Woo! Can't keep him dead forever.
Right, yeah, okay,
Persona
so
4.
yeah, to actually go more in depth with that,
So,
maybe like
yeah,
the
but
biggest shocker.
where do we start?
Well, let's just say the biggest shocker, I think, was the Blaze Blue
Yeah.
crossover, cross tag, whatever they're calling it.
Crisscross.
Yeah,
Cross
Chris
tag
Cross.
battle.
yeah.
Hopscotch.
Which is, again, that's Blaze Blue. So it's made by the guys who did
It's
Arc
Arc
System Works. Yeah.
And they're also being like artists are busy these days. Also doing the DBZ Fighter,
Mm-hmm.
and they have
Mhm.
Guilty Gear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And so it's Blaze Blue.
They're the platinum of fighting games.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
Blaze Blue
much.
versus Persona versus Under Night
Ruby.
in-Birth, which is
Ruby.
a
Yeah.
more obscure thing. Yeah, versus Ruby, of all things.
You know,
Mhm.
Ruby, it's really weird because, like, I feel like, especially like on the Western side of things, we might not think Ruby's like a cool thing, and it's like a very, very small like
Mhm.
percentage of people that we know that like Ruby.
Mhm.
But I've seen a bunch of Ruby fans and like artwork and junk on the Japanese side, and
There's-
it's shocking.
It's getting a line of figures too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
I knew about Ruby and I was thought, oh, like it's this little series like by Monty Who, bless his heart, but
yeah.
I didn't expect it had this much of a cult that to get into a mainline fighting game by
Yeah.
Arxis
Now,
against Persona.
Mhm. So what I kind of wonder, because they also confirmed Jubei, the cat,
Oh, right,
finally
right,
coming
right.
to Blaze Blue after how
Oh,
many
yeah.
years? So that's
It's
just
forever
cool.
almost.
Yeah, the people wanted him since the first game, basically, because he was in the story
Yeah.
mode of the first game, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So he's finally playable. But then they've got this other one coming out, and I'm just sort of thinking, is this going to be, sort of their main game going on then? Or is this just a side-off sort of thing, and Blaze Blue is still like the main series? Because coming up on next Evo, there's going to be like a dozen games, and not all of them are going to get played, So it's going to be
That's
interesting
true.
to see which ones make the cut. Because
Don't they open it up to like fan voting? Or no? They just
They
decide.
they do often, but still, like this year, Killer Instinct wasn't there. Killer Instinct's a fine ass game.
Yeah.
It didn't get in, and
They gotta
they
pick
also
and choose, right?
right. And Pokken wasn't in, which I'm perfectly fine
No,
with
not
personally.
Pokken.
But that one's also getting Pokken DX, right? Comes out sometime this soon.
Oh, right, on Switch.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Switch. So they're still making that. That's still a game that exists. It's like Evo used to be like all the fighting games are at Evo, but now it's like there's too many fighting games for
It's
Evo,
too much fighting
which is
going
a
on.
crazy problem to have.
It's like it's not a thing you would have said maybe 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we have too much fighting games.
Yeah,
What was the period like where fighting games were considered dead? It's like I think it was after Street Fighter 4.
no.
Or like-
After from 3 to 4 is when
Yeah,
people
3 to
considered
4.
it dead.
It's like nothing was happening, and then 4
Right.
happened. Like it got a boost, but still, fighting game was kind of like
Yeah, 4
you had
was
to-
like a snowball effect.
yeah, but still, like it took its time, and even straight after 4, it's like yes, but it's still like the main line. Like you had your Tekkens, your Street Fighters, and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But now we have fighting games exploding all over the place.
Right, and we've got thank God, an actual good. It's not even out yet, but I'm already going to call it good Dragon Ball Z fighting game.
Jesus, yeah.
Sure looks good.
Oh my God!
So yeah, Arxis are the little projects that's been revealed before Evo, but now they've been like they've shown Trunks, I think,
I'll buy anything with
doing
Trunks in it.
Evo,
and
and
Krillin
Piccolo.
and Piccolo.
yeah,
Yeah. So far, I think that the only concern about the game is just how big's the roster going to be, because it's not going to be huge like a lot of DBZ games, because they're going to actually make the characters different and
Yeah.
stuff. But I mean, I've already got like my favorite dudes in, so I guess I'm good. I'd like to see Mercenary Tao. I'd like to see Tenshin Han, but
hmm
you
yeah. I'm waiting for like obvious ones are going to be in like Cell and like ones like that.
Majin Buu.
yeah, those guys
Yeah.
are in. Yeah.
Kind of the main roster. I would like this the androids if that's possible.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
18
at least
18 would be
18
dope.
for sure.
Yeah.
OG waifu.
But yeah, my favorite thing about looking at the footage of DBC Fighter is people who line up shots from the trailers with
Mhm.
shots from the manga or the anime
Mhm.
and see how it's exactly identical.
Yep. And there was a whole bunch of that with JoJo All-Star Battle.
Yeah.
Also had a similar level of like recreation of poses drawn directly from the source material, and that sort of stuff is always really cool to see.
Well, they used the models from the game into the intros for like the anime, right?
Yeah.
To the point because it was so faithful and on model.
Mm-hmm. But let's see. I'm trying to think what else was. Oh, the other big thing is Arika is back in the game.
So that was the one I was looking at right now.
Yeah.
So that game came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. It was announced.
It has no title right now.
Yeah, it still has no title. But so it's a weird history at this thing because it was announced on April Fool's Day, and everyone was like, haha, this looks cool actually though. And then the April Fool's was that it wasn't an April Fool.
It's not an April Fool's at all. It looks like an extremely good fighting game.
I think that was like a test to see if people actually care about
the
this.
ultimate option select, so that if no one liked it, they're like, haha, funny joke, right guys? Okay.
Gotcha.
It looks super nice. Like it seems to be done in the Unreal Engine. Like we watching the the trailer. Like, I love that the title of the video is just the mysterious fighting game, and then you have fucking Skullomania in it.
Yeah,
because why not?
Right, and the thing is that the models look like they look like Street Fighter V's art style in the best way. Because I think Street Fighter V has some good looking models. Like Zangief looks great in that game. Some characters are messed up, but the ones that look good look real good. And this looks like all the good ones. Mm-hmm. You know.
I think Street Fighter V is stylized enough that it looks good to me.
Right, yeah. And it's really, I want to say the ones that don't look good, I'm talking about like Ken's face and like Ken's hair, you know? But like those things aside, the overall look is good, and this is mimicking that in a good way, which is like, how are they doing that with such a relatively much smaller company, but they're still hitting this level of polish? It's great to see.
For me, it's kind of a mix between SF5 and like the recent King of Fighters.
Yeah.
And not to shit on King of Fighters because it recently it got patches and still for me it still looks pretty good and
King of Fighters is fine. It's not anything impressive, but
no, but it still plays like a KOF. Also the CG animated thing that comes out today, I think, for KOF 14.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so there's a CG animated for KOF 14, and I think it's coming out. I don't know if you remember if it's a movie or like a series, like an anime thing, but done in CG. And apparently, Geese Howard is like the main villain in it. So that looks.
Oh shit! Fun. Yeah, it's like a TV show, 3D anime, whatever you want to call it. Then.
Yeah.
Okay, they say it's going to have 20 episodes, and the first ones are out now. Wow, I'm going to have to go watch that.
That's more than Castlevania got.
Damn, do we need to talk about Castlevania?
Oh, it's great. Go watch it.
It's great to watch it.
It's great. Anyway.
Pretty much what you can say about it.
But, what else was I going to say about all this? Oh, yeah, so also all these companies are showing off these dope things, right? We got Geese Howard in Tekken. We got the Blaze Blue Persona crossover thing. We got Jubei. We got...
and then you have all that instead of so... What is Capcom going to bring out for their big hits?
We got Capcom.
What do you got, Capcom?
They wake up from a fucking...
And they got one of those...
Capcom.
And they got one of the muscle fetish mods in Street Fighter 4 brought to life. Fucking... dumbass, claymation-ass, Rob Liefeld-looking Abigail.
Jeez. So, the thing I want to say something is that
they
fucked up the reveal trailer, and we learned that afterwards.
Yep.
It's basically they used the wrong model, which is completely deformed, and the original the trailer they show. And the actual in-game, he looks fine.
He's already, and I don't know if he looks fine.
He looks proportionate.
No, he's already fuck huge, but they used the one that was, double fuck huge.
Yeah.
And it's like, how is this mistake still happening, Capcom? Baby, I'm going to bat for you every time, but you make it so hard to do that when you mess up these basic things. His gameplay looks fun. I'll give him that. He's got a lot of personality and stuff like that. Something that's kind of funny is if you just let the stick alone after any of his special moves, he's got a 3-second long taunt after each one of them that you'll never see in an actual game. but I just think that's kind of funny that like after his throw, he'll just like talk shit at the other guy and flex.
Yeah,
but...
from what I've heard is that like after the initial shock passed of Abigail reveal, is that people will play it's like, oh yeah, he's actually super fun to play.
Right.
It also came with like a new stage, stuff like that. And actually, I'm hoping for more like crossover characters from like Final Fights and
So I don't know if
like
you
or something like that.
If you're familiar with all the leaks and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I haven't followed the recent.
Okay, so
ones.
the word on the street is that the last two characters are Menat, who is a Egyptian fortune teller chick from Ed's storyline, so a completely new character, not from anything else. And
cool.
Some other dude who is like a ninja master who taught Guy from Final Fight.
Okay,
the Guy's sensei, basically.
Wait, are you talking about Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Where's my Sakura?
I know, right? Yeah, and so this is the thing: is these aren't like these characters can be cool, but it just feels like such a weird business decision that with the game already struggling, they're like, okay, our second season, let's make it all new guys because it's impossible to build hype for characters like that, you know,
tried and true, you know. But I guess you're right; it doesn't really make sense.
It buzz me out too because I think SF5 is generally a good game. It's just that it's been so horribly mismanaged.
I think it got there.
Beginning.
Yeah, I think it got to being a good game, but it definitely didn't. I don't think it started off like that.
It didn't start specifically at one and missed a lot of things, but like right now, it's still one of the best fighters you can get.
I think it's a sort of thing where, you know, a year from now, 2 years from now, it's going to be like people are going to not even argue with it. Like, oh yeah, it's good because same thing happened with Street Fighter 4.
Yeah,
it had a ton of problems, super fixed a lot, you know, other things. But by the time Ultra came out, you know, it was established and it ironed everything out. We really should have done it sooner, but it'll eventually get there. It's just bizarrely frustrating to watch just the weirdest business decisions being made. It's like Nintendo's running it or something.
Oh.
So in Marvel versus Capcom.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, let's get to that. So at least they had a better character reveal for Marvel vs. Capcom, which is Jeddah, which I really like.
He actually looks pretty cool.
He looks pretty cool.
I've heard nothing but good things about this game being played, like the Stones, Infinity Stone gimmick and all that stuff or whatever. So, but they're fixing Chun-Li's face.
And Dante's apparently.
Okay, good.
Yeah, well, that's another weird situation where like all of the pros who have had hands-on time with it are loving it.
Yeah.
Like almost universally, they're all talking about how
have you watched Maximilian's videos about it? Because, yeah, that's the one I've watched, and apparently his consensus that the game plays really, really well and has some crazy tech in it.
Mm-hmm. It's which is great because I know the initial worry was that it would be super watered down and dumbed down, but
no,
everything I've seen is all like, dude, if you don't know how to play, you're going to get bopped even harder with all the mid-tag combos and stuff like that. Mix-ups are going to be so dirty in this one, so all of that's still going to be there. The problem is just that I still don't really care for the graphical style. It looks bland.
Still the roster for me.
And the roster, is...
But that's why I don't trust these leaks or rumors, is because I remember going in, people were like, the roster is horrible. There's like so few characters, and then like other things were announced that weren't on the leaks. So I'm like, oh, I don't trust anything. Anything could happen.
There's been like several rounds of leaks. I don't know how all this shit happens, but
Spider-Man's in it.
Right. Yeah, we got the Spider-Man. I mean, until Venom is in there, I won't feel safe, you know, because that's all I wanted. I just want my baby boy. But
for me, it's like all the Wolverine players are getting super shafted right now.
I know, dude. That's
a huge omission.
That's the other thing. The no X-Men is BS, and I'm gonna have to hold that L because like my team was a Wolverine, Magneto, Sentinel. So like, me, right?
Oh,
but
Rocket Raccoon.
And that's it's because it's like they're bringing back a bunch of characters, which is fine. I would rather they bring back characters than not bring them back. But there feels like they're introducing almost nobody new.
Yeah,
as a result. And
like, if they can't touch X-Men, okay, I mean that sucks. But I guess it's licensing things or whatever. But they need to like pad that out by like, okay, we
and
have
instead,
to explore
like, who are our new characters?
New people,
we have Mega Man X. It's like, okay, I guess that's, yeah, I would hope he's in there, so that's nice. Who else you got? Jeddah.
Sigma.
It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have
Who
like
else?
what I really like is what they did to Strider, because now his gameplay is also completely different. He's not this weird tech guy that was in MVC 3.
Mhm.
He's now more of a straight up offense, like fast character. Like they've changed a lot of how he plays.
Right. I mean, see, that's the other thing is coming from a gameplay perspective. Yeah, everyone's got changes, you know.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, it'll still play good, and they'll be, even though it's an old character, they'll play in new ways. But it just makes it hard to get hyped for it when they're all like, "We're announcing Spider-Man." I'm all like, "Y'all better be announcing Spider-Man."
Yes.
I'd be pissed
You
if he
should be
wasn't.
announcing. You should be like, "Don't worry, Spider-Man is in
like,
the game."
should be an
Yeah.
obvious one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing is like someone pointed that to me is that a lot of the so they don't have the mutants, so the kind of replacements is going to have Guardians and obviously people from the Marvel current mainline in MCU. Someone pointed out a lot of these characters, like, what are you going to do with Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, it kind of baffles me that Groot is not the playable character.
Right, that's what I totally
Because
expected.
most of these characters, what they do is shoot guns.
Yep.
That's
And-
true.
Yeah, and that's sort of like, I don't know. I feel like you could play so many fun types of characters in a fighting game. Why would you pick Rudy Tooty point and shooty? You know,
It's the sword fighter's problem for Smash.
Exactly.
Everyone's
Actually,
got
yeah.
swords and everyone's got guns. And
Like,
Yeah.
sure, Gamora can be fun. It's just like, she's just another shoot martial
Yeah.
artist thing.
And then even from the Marvel side, they're picking things to get their Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's what it's all oriented around, and I accept that's how it's got to be. But it would be cool if they would pick characters from comic books, and they've even got the Miss Marvel, right? The stretchy Miss Marvel. She's like Luffy, right? They've got Gwenpool, Squirrel Girl. These are all like new
Spider Gwen.
Right, exactly. These are all like new, hip, popular, socially justice-oriented, whatever the hell you want to put at them. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't put these characters in the game, except that it's more important for them to plug their movies.
Because everyone else can get pissed off.
I guess, but it's like, I don't know. I think they would make good characters, and they could also check a demographic box, so make both sides of the aisle happy, right?
I just want more.
Yeah, exactly. Just more in general.
More.
Would be
It's
nice.
like the whole thing that carries most of these games. Like, okay, there's gameplay, but like roster is so important compared to other. Like, it's the whole thing of Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah. So do you
it's
guys
like
know
the
when...
initial thing is like, oh, I'm gonna take my favorite characters from both of these worlds and clash, and when you have most of these characters are missing, it's still going to be super visible.
Yeah. Do you guys know when it comes out or when it's supposed
September?
To launch? Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I was like, maybe they're waiting for the build.
I thought it was going to be November. It was like way sooner than I thought. Yeah, September 19th.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is
that's something.
There might be one more reveal then, huh?
Yeah, is that it feels like it's coming out super quick, and that's something that screwed over Street Fighter V. I think was they released it a good 6 months before they should have, and they could have waited a year, honestly. But I would hope for their sake they learned their lessons in terms of how to market things and include arcade mode and that sort of thing that people want. But I will also laugh my ass off if this one also doesn't have arcade mode.
Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a huge
it really
possibility.
is.
Another crazy thing is that actually Sonic Mania turns into this game.
Whoa! Shovel Knight's a playable character.
That's Sega versus Capcom.
Every video game just collapses on itself into one mega game.
Yeah. Coming out
that's Frog Factions 3, baby.
And then Kojima comes out of Ukraine.
It was all Kojima's new game.
That's Death Stranding. Death Stranding is just our lives. Alright, guys. I guess that's it for Evo then. That wraps all our talk
so,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll set Kisauer then Tekken and go check the crowd reaction for that announcement because that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna wrap up our episode then, guys. We're going long. We're not gonna do a 20 question thing. We don't have any emails.
Oh, I was about to ask.
Sorry. It's probably because we haven't recorded in a while, so nobody really has. We haven't put the word out for emails. So let's do that right now, guys. If you have any questions, anyone listening, and you want us to we will read anything you write us. I check it all the time.
Send some erotic poetry.
Anything. Comfycast@gmail.com. Questions, concerns, whatever. You just want to call one of us out. Suggestions, I don't care. Comfycast@gmail.com. You can send anything there. Other than that, thank you for listening. Something I didn't get to mention, a couple things that I didn't write down, but I just remembered was there's a new Gundam game coming out, right? Isn't there a Gundam versus game? Did you guys hear about that?
Yep.
We didn't talk about that. Soon. And the big thing in my world is the 2 Persona games that got announced that I forgot to talk about.
Yeah, that's right.
Persona 3 Dancing Moon Knight and Persona 5 Dancing Star Knight, unless I'm flipping those around. But dancing
like
games.
Pokemon.
It's actually Persona Crossing Moon Knight.
Oh, Cross. And that's what he does.
Yeah. And in addition, you also have Persona Q2, which
Persona Q2 for 3DS. Is that coming to Switch?
I just heard 3DS.
I bet it's going to come to Switch. They'd be dumb not to. Anyways, so those 3 games, go check them out.
Our sponsors.
Oh, right, our sponsors. No, that'll be in the middle of the episode.
Oh, you're doing? Okay.
Don't worry. Thank you to our sponsors, though. Our sponsor.
Also, go check out Helvetii-game.com.
And our other sponsor is Hoot's game project that he's working on. Where can they? There's a website up for this game.
There's a new website for my project that's being made right now, and I'm gonna show at TGS. And you can. There's not a lot on the website right now, but they're gonna update it with a blog post soon. It's Helvetii-game.com. That's HELVETII-game.com.
Right. Go check that out.
And you can check out a game that I'm working on called Embers of Aztlan. It's
Embers of Aztlan.
Yeah, it's a Aztec strategy game, kind of like Fire Emblem sort of thing. Got some cool sprites going on in that. You can find us at our Facebook page at Half Lemon Game Studios. So Facebook/Half Lemon Game Studios.
Go check them out, guys. Cool games, cool stuff coming. I'll put links in the description, actually.
I was working on something.
What are you working? Oh, you wish you were. I have a Tumblr that you can go.
What Tumblr I post pictures on? I don't know.
Follow my fucking Twitter. Need more followers. No. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. This will conclude our episode, and everybody stay comfy. Anybody want to say anything? Final words?
Nope.
Death to Nintendo.
Last time it was Star Wars, now it's Nintendo.
Fuck you. It's cycles.
Yeah. Gotta wish death on a different corporation each time.
Okay, then death to IPAs. Okay.
Jesus. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.